Hello everyone, and welcome once again to this moon alignment where we are going to look at the next new moon in Libra, which happens on the 21st of October in a few days, and it will happen at 12:25 Universal Time at 28 degrees and 22 of Libra, in the very last degrees of Libra. So this moon is a very important moon. And I know I've been saying the same for a few of the past moon cycles, but that's also because we are on the way of a deep evolution for humanity. And sometimes we got this, let's say, huge packet of information that comes to us through certain moons, and this is one of them. And this moon is going to talk to us about evolution. Like every new moon, new moons are speak about new beginnings, and Libra in particular speaks to us about evolution. But we will see throughout the reading of today how this moon in particular speaks to us about the evolution of all of us as humans, as individuals, but also as a species, and the responsibility and the role we have in that. So let's take a look at the archetype of Libra. Libra is, out of all the 12 signs of the zodiac, is the one that speaks to us about evolution through harmony. It is the archetype that turns conflict into beauty, into balance. It turns polarity into harmony and equilibrium. And this is one of the superpowers of Libra, because whenever Libra faces tension or crisis, its attribute or its a key skill is not to avoid it, but to seek a new equilibrium, the higher harmony that can emerge through this conflict. So what it does, it brings and it pulls whatever history has created until that present moment, it pulls it towards its next step. So it's the one that brings in that higher level of awareness that can create something new out of something old. And its mantra is I balance. It is ruled by Venus. And in that, Libra reminds us that love, grace, beauty, aesthetics, all of these are evolutionary forces. So it's not always about pain and shadow work and all of these things. It's also about how we can create beauty, how we can create harmony, how we can bring up grace and love into moments of tension and conflicts and moments of pain as well for us. So, as I said, this new moon is not simply another Libra lunation, it's a gateway for collective evolution. There are a lot of very interesting planetary geometries that all call us to grow beyond what we know, and also to become the architects of what is coming up. And this is the moment to do it. So let's look at the main themes for this lunation. We have the new moon that forms a square with Jupiter in Cancer and Pluto in Aquarius. So as you know, Jupiter expands everything that it touches. Here in Cancer, it invites us to grow beyond inherited patterns, to find the emotional maturity and to expand ourselves outside of what we know, outside of the cocoon that brought us up. So yeah, there is definitely an idea of outgrowing what has been holding us so far. Pluto, I'm sure you all know that by now. There's been a lot of talk about Pluto over the past year or so. Pluto is the planet of deep transformation, and it adds intensity to the already very strong tension we have in that triangle. And it's asking us to evolve, and it tells us that we must face our shadows so that we can transmute them into light. You can't transform something, however painful it is, if you don't recognize it first, you don't face it first, if you don't accept it first. So Pluto is the one that will bring us the energy to do that. Interestingly enough, right opposite the new moon, we have Chiron. Chiron is in Aries. You know, Chiron is the wounded healer, so it tends to bring to the light our wounds. And here in Aries, it exposes our wound in the I am. So it will tend to ask us, where do I still feel disempowered? And the path of healing is to connect to our sovereignty, to stand fully in our power, in our radiance, in our brightness, in our light. And that means recovering our full connection to the I am. And to do that for ourselves, for our community, and for humanity. So this first geometry that we're looking at here, that involves Jupiter, Pluto, and Chiron, is really about expanding from our existing limitations and to go and actively meet our future. And to do that, we are invited to really regather or remember our I am. So we need to grow out of what we know. We need to go deep within to recognize what needs to change. And we can do that by coming back to our I am and by recovering our integrity, our wholeness. Wholeness sounds like holiness. So the fact of being whole and the fact that we become whole, we become holy. And that's how we become the bridge between heaven and earth. So this is the first big message of this moon. The next key information in this moon is to open to the breadth of new ideas that is coming at us and that is available to us as well. We have a grand trine in air involving Venus in Libra, again Pluto in Aquarius, and this time Uranus in Gemini. Air governs intellect, ideas, the mind, thought, connections, communications. So this is let's say, the context in which this trine, or it's a grand triangle. This is like a wheel. It sets things in movement. So it's setting things in movement in those areas that I just mentioned of mind, communication, etc. Venus is currently in her own sign of rulership. She rules Libra and Taurus, and right now she's in Libra. And it is connecting with Uranus, that is the master of innovation, of radical change, new ideas, genius ideas, things that we've never thought about. And also to Pluto, deep transformation. And these two planets, both Uranus and Pluto, always call for deep and radical change. One is looking outside, Uranus, new thoughts, communications, things out there. And Pluto is looking deep within. Pluto is Hephaistos, he rules the forges of inner earth, down really deep within. So what it tells us is, it tells us that this is the time to start thinking differently, to welcome unconventional ideas, things that are new to us, and to redesign the way we live and collaborate as species. Both Uranus and Pluto are transpersonal. They speak about the collective. So they also point us towards that idea that in the transformation that we are going through at the moment, it is key and it is essential to place ourselves in the middle of the collective we belong to. And that is the first collective. It can be our family, our neighborhood, our city, our territory, but really it's humanity. And beyond humanity, it's all living beings, whether in Earth, outside of Earth, like all that is that's how we can connect to unity consciousness, which is where we are heading anyway. So this is a great reminder of remembering that we are part of much, much bigger than us. And Uranus, that rules Aquarius, and you know by now for sure that we have entered, and we are on our way to the, let's say, the full expression of the age of Aquarius. And Aquarius is about that, is about fraternity. It's about caring for others, and to not only care for others, but know our place in the middle of the mesh and the web of that we are constituting together. Imagine each one of us as one node, and we are all connected, and together we can create, we're part of one single organism, as if in the same way cells are individuals in a bigger whole. So this is what it is about, seeing ourselves, not only creating that harmony and opening to new ideas, but also seeing ourselves as a conscious cell within a vast living organism. And our balance, the balance we create, the harmony we create, nourishes the collective and the harmony of the whole. Now, there's another very, very interesting piece of information with this moon, which comes from the element water. We also have a water trine that connects Mars, that is together with Mercury in Scorpio, and that connects with Jupiter and with Neptune and Saturn. So just Mars being connected to Mercury in Scorpio, this is giving us the courage to go and explore our inner depth. Remember what I said a few minutes ago about the necessity to go within in order to evolve. So we have the clarity of Mercury, the discernment of Mercury, and the courage of Mars to be able to do that in good condition and with the right tools. Water speaks to us about our desires, especially in Scorpio, and they are the mirrors of our soul. And when we understand them, when we connect to them, they become the fuel for our movement, for our creations. So it's very, very important to go and dig deep into those. Remember, Pluto rules Scorpio, and Mars is the ancient ruler of Scorpio. So there's a lot of Scorpio energy, which mantra is I desire, that invites us to really connect in the most authentic and the most deep way to our desires. So, as I said earlier, this aspect is part of that grand trine in water with Jupiter in Cancer and Saturn in Pisces, that is still very close to Jupiter. And this is telling us or inviting us or showing us that this information is about grounding our dreams and in what we desire and in our spiritual vision. Where does that come from? Saturn is in Pisces, and remember, it's been there for a while, and it's been together with Neptune for a while as well, and it speaks to us about manifesting the dream, so making a reality out of the dream. Neptune, reality, and manifesting it, Saturn. So Saturn is conjunct Neptune at 0 of the zodiac, and that really opens the field of the new dream in a really big way. Why? Because Neptune is literally at 0 degrees, 1 minute at the moment of the new moon. But a few hours later, it would be at 0, 0, 0 of Aries, and that is the beginning of the entire zodiac. So imagine the power of that, of what it is to be at the exact beginning of the zodiac. Neptune, the dream, connects us to the whole. Like, imagine like the universe holding its breath, and just before it's going to exhale all the realities, this is that moment at 0 degrees of Aries. And the moment of the exhale is supported by this connection to Saturn. So, with this aspect, the divine imagination and manifest. And what we have here is the connection to what we said earlier, the desires, our own desires, what makes our soul in motion. This is what sets us in motion. It's our desires, our emotions, water. On the one hand, and Jupiter in Cancer that expands that and invites us to go beyond everything we inherited and to use our desires to create the new. So everything that we received from our ancestors, from our biology, from millions of years of evolution, we are invited here to create a new reality, a new dream based off of our own desires, not as personal achievements, but our desires being a point out of the multitude of desires that can be expressed at the same time, and together create that wave of change. Again, I am one cell of that great organism that wants to evolve. So when I open to new ideas, when I go into my depths, when I meet my conflicts, when I meet my desires, I can carry my part of that great new dream. So we're invited here to transform passion into purpose and to become aware that every one of us are an agent of evolution of humanity. Remember the imaginal cells. So it's a very powerful, very liberating also aspect. And that reminds us of our role within the collective, our responsibility within the collective, and also gives us the manual on how to create that new future for ourselves and for everyone, humanity. And we have another one of these very interesting aspects, which is a finger of God, a yod, which usually informs us about an element of destiny. It's called also the point of destiny, the finger of God. The apex, so the finger of God is a geometry that is a very pointy triangle. So the apex, the top of it, we have the new moon. This is where we have the sun and moon together at 28 of Libra. And we have Neptune at 0 of Aries, like I just said, and Uranus at 0 of Gemini. And these three or 5 bodies, because the new moon is sun and moon together, form that yod, that point of destiny. So it is what is the key message of that is that we are at the beginning of a collective evolution. It's really an awakening that is written in destiny in a certain way. Like it was bound to happen, and it is happening right now. Neptune, as I said, is pointing to the new dream, is awakening that new dream. Uranus brings us the electric charge of the vision, of the innovation, of the new ideas, of everything that will can be created, and all the possibilities that are available for that new beginning. It brings us also our the awareness of our multidimensionality. Uranus is very connected to that too. It's connected to the out there, to what is beyond Earth. And that's also our multidimensionality. It's not only receiving our own multidimensionality, but opening to multidimensional beings as well. And so that's how this triangle is working. And on the other side of the moon, so if you look at that triangle like this, here we have when we have planets there, it helps us understand how we should direct the energy that is created by this triangle. And here we have a fixed star. Yeah, I was looking for the word. A fixed star called vertex. The fixed star is in the constellation of Andromeda. And it directs all the energy that can be awakened by this finger of God towards awakening our intuitive and psychic perception. Multidimensionality. Uranus was pointing to that already. So it's also very interestingly, it has another attribute, vertex. It says it is the time to end sacrifice. And I really like that because it points to this is the moment that we stop, that sense of we have to sacrifice something to obtain something else. It points to ending the pain, ending the suffering, and ending that idea that, sacrifice is important. And it redirects us towards finding that power that we have within. Remember, Chiron, I am becoming whole again, to our power as multi-dimensional being and our ability to connect to other planes. And that is part of our next evolutionary step. So for that, one thing that is very important to get in touch with those aspects of ourselves is silence. Why? Because silence creates the space where we can listen, where we can hear the subtle messages that are there and allow the space for them to come to us. It's in silence that we listen to the invisible. So, yeah, this is what this moon has for us. So, to recap it's evolution through seeking balance. And actually, seeking balance is the tool for evolution. This is how we transmute crisis into harmony, sovereignty, and healing of our identity, recovering the power of our I am. New ideas and transformation that come from deep within. So both movement, opening to new ideas, but also going deep within to encounter our own conflicts and evolve through them, and allowing that new collective intelligence that is emerging through us, allowing it to come and helping it create that new harmony that we're looking for. Remember that desire can be our compass, and that's where we can find our engine for our evolution. And also align our own imagination to that of New Earth and to that of the collective, remembering that we are a cell in a much bigger organism. So I really find that this moon is extremely exciting. At the same time, it goes extremely deep, and evolution is such an extraordinary force. It's the intelligence behind all life. And this moon is connecting us. It's like having the fingers in the plug of that intelligence that governs everything in the universe and in the cosmos. So, yeah, I hope you received and that you will receive all the information for you to benefit from this connection with that intelligence. So, how do we work with this moon in practice? Well, first of all, I invite you to check where 28 degrees 22 fall on your chart and look at which house. And that will give you the area of your life that, where you can set the new intention and where that intent, like this moon is activating most, is the area of your life that this moon is activating most. So you can set a new intention for anything, but in particular, in that theme, in that subject, it will get more power and more traction. Also, another thing, it's more like a general comment. It's true for this moon, it's true for all the moons that we are connecting with, at least in the way I try to connect with and to deliver their message, is to see every moon as a moment of shift in consciousness. In every alignment, for full moons or new moons, we get a piece of information to help us shift a little bit more, go one step beyond. A big or a small, it doesn't matter, but just it keeps us in that movement of evolving our consciousness. So we receive that information twice a month, sometimes more when there are other events like equinoxes, solstices, sorry, and important events, astronomical events. So yeah, just keep that in mind that every time we connect to those moons, it's a shift in consciousness, and maybe it doesn't show the results straight away, but you will see that over time it accumulates, and it is big steps that we're taking together, especially at those moments as the evolution is being accelerated anyway. Now, in a more personal and very, very practical way, also, how do we benefit from this moon, and how we go deep within us, and how we look at our desires, etc., etc. I invite you to think of all the areas of your life where you feel constricted, when you feel you no longer belong, when there are tensions, where there are conflicts, and imagine a new state of what it could be. And nurture that dream, that new state, with your intention, and allow yourself to be inspired to make a change, even if it's just in your mind at the beginning. Every reality starts with a dream. So I invite you to start with looking of the places of conflict and to dream their resolution. And also, I invite you also to don't hate the tension, don't hate the conflict, don't hate the pain that it brings. Use it. This is what Libra does. Libra uses the polarity to create the movement. It's the difference in polarity, the negative and the positive poles, that allows the movement of electrons to create electricity. It's the same. Tension comes from, two things that are no longer in harmony, so they require movement. And Libra teaches us to use that movement to place a new intention and resolve the conflict at another state, until at that state it will start to disharmonize, inviting us to seek a new level of harmony, etc., ad infinitum. Also, on a more, let's say, astronomical level, there's a few things that you can do. I will certainly try and do them around the 21st of October. I don't know how to say it. Orionids, there's a meteor shower by the constellation of Orion in the northern hemisphere that is peaking on the 21st. I believe it's starting on the 19th, I think. 19th or 20th, I'm not sure. But anyway, it's peaking on the 21st. So if you're in an area, or if you can go to an area where there's not so much light pollution, look out for that. You might see some beautiful meteors. Also, very, very interestingly, on the 21st of October, sorry, on the day of that new moon, we have three comets that are in very specific positions. First of all, 3i Atlas, Earth, Sun, and 3i Atlas will be aligned in the sky in a conjunction. Very, very interesting. As you know, 3i Atlas has been the subject of a lot of talks about its shape, its tail, its colors, how much we know of, its behavior and how similar or not similar it is to what we know. So I invite you to connect with that energy and allow yourself to be inspired by what it carries. All the comets, they carry because they travel, they're travelers, and some travel from outside of our solar system, like 3i Atlas, and some travel from within, but regardless, they all bring information from wherever they're traveling to and from and through. So speaking of what we were saying earlier about our multidimensionality, I invite you to maybe sit and connect and see what that inspires you. There's two other comets that are in remarkable places on that date. We have Safouane, which is has its closest approach to Earth on the 21st. And same thing with Comet Lemon, Lemmon, that is also at its closest approach to Earth on the 21st. So very, very interesting. A lot of energy, a lot of out there information. Remember what Uranus told us? Open to information that is very new. And for sure, with three comets being in particular points in the sky in relation to Earth, for sure, we are bound to be inspired. So what else can I say? I think that's it. I think I said everything that I needed to say. Yeah, other than maybe remember that when we evolve, we outgrow a state of being. And today we're experiencing that as humanity, as Earth, and probably beyond, because we're all connected. And this moon is really, really interesting because it really gives us the manual. This is what we need to do. And remember that the divine intelligence within us is moving, is in constant movement. So we can allow it to go through us and do that consciously and nourish it and bring it what is very specific to us and infuse it with and allow the evolution to go in a certain way. Or we can do that in an unconscious way and not do that, but it will move regardless. The movement is there always. So I really believe that we are creating our future right now. So I invite you to choose wisely your thoughts, your emotions, and the way you move through life and through the current circumstances, because that will shape up what's coming next. And that is the great teaching of Libra, that every one of us gives something new to the evolutionary movement. So the more consciously we do that, the more we deliver, the more we add something in consciousness, the more the collective evolution goes towards consciousness, obviously. So here we are for this moon. I think that's it. I think this is the time to ask the Oracle of Agartha, the people of Inner Earth, what additional information they have for us today, what piece of advice, what else do we need to take into account and to be aware of for this new moon Libra. So, let's see. All right. It gives us the ancient Atlanteans, the science. This is what it looks like. It's a boat under a starry sky navigating. And the city at the bottom. All right, let's see what it tells us. The science. Technology is a science that must be used with the intelligence of the heart. It must become a prolongation of its own emanation, an instrument of the divine. When it is used without consciousness, it becomes very risky. When it is used to satisfy egotic interests, it becomes dangerous. If you use technology in a world of personal interests and egos, always ask yourself if you are serving technology or if it's technology that is using you. Okay, I'll say that sentence again. If you use technology that in a world of personal interests and egos, always ask yourself if it is you who is using the technology or if it's the technology that is using you. This question must not be a general question because the answer will depend on where your will in the moment comes from. If your will comes from the heart, it serves your movement. If it comes from a fear, lack, insecurity, or a form of control, it's you who are being used by technology. It's you who are serving technology. Ascension key, the tools that I use must carry the highest vibration of my heart. The tools that I use must carry the highest vibrations of my heart. Thank you. I think it's a beautiful and very useful reminder. And by technology, my understanding of technology is not just the actual scientific technologies, internet, AI, tools, cars, whatever. It's also all the technologies that we use for ourselves, everything that we do, all the disciplines or the tools that we have for our spiritual growth. I don't know, the technology of chakras, of vibration, of everything that we are, a lot of us are very familiar with. And to remember to also use that in a very, very conscious way, in a way to serve the whole. And I really like how it's recentering us to the fact that, first of all, it must be connected together, and it points us that our current evolution must come also from the heart, from something that serves the collective. I'll show you the card again. Okay, thank you very much. All right, now let's go to the meditation. I invite you to sit comfortably, and I'm going to share some music. Give me 1 second. Oh. Trying to navigate. Okay, there you go. There. All right, here we are. Find a comfortable position, sitting down with your spine vertical. You can be sitting in a meditation position with legs crossed or on a chair. Just make sure that your spine is really vertical. I invite you to close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Inhaling deeply through the nose, holding your breath, and exhaling deeply. Repeat that several times. And every time with the exhale, I invite you to release any physical tensions, any emotions, any thoughts. And I invite you, by releasing all of the above, to create space within your body, within your emotions, and within your mind, to receive the information that this moon, that the skies are bringing to us with this moon. When you're ready, come back to normal breathing. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And focus your entire attention on your breath. And I invite you now to place your attention in your body, in the points of contact between your body and the floor or the chair where you are sitting. Feel the pressure, the area of contact. Become aware of the weight of your body. How it's resting how your weight is spread across those points of contact with earth, with the floor, the chair. Ultimately, being held by gravity. Feel the weight of your body, how it's contained by your skin. Feel your muscles, your organs, the blood flowing into your vessels. Feel that flow. Feel your heartbeat. That regulates, nourishes, and gives a tempo to your entire body. Become aware now of all the information that your body contains, from all the experiences that you have been through since you were born, the information that you hold within from before your birth, parents, father, mother, their own parents, and their own parents, generation after generation, back to the first cell that ever existed on Earth. All that information is within your body. Every one of us holds that information. Imagine, feel, or see all the steps that this first cell, living cell, living in water, went through until we existed, us, every one of us individually. From a cell living in the ocean to an organism feeding off the sunshine, to a pluricellular organism, becoming a plant or an animal, going through billions, millions of years of evolution, constantly adapting to its environment, to the climate, to the atmosphere, to other species. Millions of years of evolution until the first humanoid was born. And from there, more change, more transformation, more adaptation, more evolution, All of those steps are registered in every single cell of our body. And all these conflicts resolved, these desires, these changes and transformations accomplished by every single ancestor of ours are deposited in us, in our body, in our psyche. And today, every one of us is the starting point of the next evolutionary step in the continuity of the constant movement of life. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And as I seek the next evolutionary step for myself and for life through my species, I become aware of all my conflicts, the difficulties I am experiencing today, the areas of tension, pain. Where do I hurt right now? I visualize them around me, all these situations. These are the areas where new options are available. These are the pointers towards the possibilities of evolution for me, but for my entire species, for humanity. I take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And I visualize a golden sphere of light surrounding me. A perfect sphere with specks of light of gold, filling up my field. I feel how this light is soft, harmonizing, balancing. How it helps bring equilibrium in all my systems, harmonizing my mind, my emotions, my body. This is the light of my I am. I allow it to flow all around me. I allow it to bring balance where balance is needed within. and I feel its effects. Feel the peace and the harmony it brings. And very slowly, very gently, I see it forming a pattern, condensing into the pattern of a flower of life that surrounds me in all directions. The light of the I Am has now transformed into a perfect geometrical pattern of the flower of life in a sphere around me. And I take the conflicts, the sources of pain that I've identified, and I place them at the center of the petals, at the crossing of the petals. One by one, I decorate this pattern with my own points of evolution. And I set the intention that this pattern, this flower of life, the light of the I Am, inspires me towards a conscious resolution of all my conflicts, allowing me to take the next step of evolution for me and for all. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. I set the intention that I resolve my conflicts in harmony, in beauty, and in grace. Not only bringing those onto my path, but also bringing harmony, grace and beauty around me. And as I observe this flower of life that draws harmonious options, I recognize that I am the one who transcends conflicts by creating options that bring a new equilibrium into the world. I am evolution. I am harmony. I balance. I am. And I calibrate with sound. very gently, I come back here and now. I start moving. When I'm ready, I can open my eyes. Thank you very much for being here with me one more time. I wish you a beautiful new moon, and please feel free to share your experience of this moon in the comments. I invite you to share this video as well for those who you might think might benefit from it, and to show your appreciation by putting a like. It helps spread this video to more people. That's why I'm asking you to do this, if that feels like something you want to do. Thank you once again. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful moon once again. And I will see you in 2 weeks for the full moon. Ciao, ciao. Bye.